What's up guys, it's Roger and welcome back to Trials of Garbage. And today we have 3 maps, Altar of Flame, Midtown, and Wormhaven, because every last week of Trials of Osiris per season is usually a rotating map system. So usually they'll pick 3 maps and they'll just rotate between them. So it can be fine. Most of the time it usually sucks. Personally, I like one weekend to be one map because I like to make a strategy and a build for that set map and then usually just run that and know what I want to do every match as I go in. And especially when you're playing in a team, you can start figuring out your strategy as you go through the weekend. And then when it's just like 3 different maps, then you don't really get to do that. You just kind of like jumble all over the place and just hope you get the map you like most of the time. So this weekend is pretty goofy. Now you can see here on our armor, I'm going to be using these Foetracer right here, an exotic that I like quite a bit because, hey, it's literally free wall hacks. Again, this is one of those exotics that I've shown off quite a bit. It's one of my go-tos when I use my Blink Hunter here because it's just free wall hacks. You can just track someone as they come around the wall and bust their skull in half. I mean, we all hate cheaters in this game, which, by the way, this weekend has more cheaters than I've ever seen before. And this helmet just literally gives us free wall hacks, so great right there. The rest of these mods and stuff, pretty simple stuff. Of course, the classic targeting, we have Strand and Solar Weapons, which we'll get to very soon. I like to make Orbs of Power. We do that with Firepower, Heavy-Handed, and Reaper, the usual stuff there. We can use those Orbs of Power with Orbs of Restoration. And then Absolution right here. Again, you can always pause when I hover over this stuff if you want to read it more in depth, but I'm not going to go into them on great detail because I've done it a million times before. And last but not least, we have Bomber mods on right here. So every time we do our dodge, we're going to get a good amount of our grenade energy back. I'm using a round robin hand cannon right here. 120 hand cannons are pretty good this weekend because all 3 of the maps have a good amount of mid-range engagements, and I think 120 hand cannons just kind of fit the playstyle of all 3 of these maps perfectly. If you're somebody who just wants to put on one build and then be able to use it in all the maps, then this is going to be a good build for you because Foetracer works well on any map, and something like a 120 is very effective on any map as well, but especially the 3 that we have today. Got a Without Remorse shotgun right here. I love lightweight frame shotguns, and this one is one of the best in the entire game. Of course, it is craftable from Season of the Haunted, which I believe next season they are going to bring back a system where we can actually reliably get old weapons like this again and be able to craft them much easier. So if you don't have this thing crafted, then wait till next season. I believe you should be able to get it much easier next time around. So hopefully that'll be a thing. If you do craft it, I recommend you go for Hipfire Grip here and for Fragile Focus. Fragile Focus is going to give you plus 20 to your range stat. So this will be shooting at a 92 range stat before we actually do break our shield. So that's very good stuff right there. Arc 3.0 is pretty simple stuff. For our dodge, I actually am going to be using Marksman Dodge just because I want to be able to reload my gun faster. 120 hand cannons are notoriously a very slow reload speed archetype of weapon, and the round robin is no exception to that. So I wanted to put this on just so I could reload that gun much more easily. I also have Kill Clip on my round robin, so if I get a kill with it, then I can just use my dodge, and it actually makes our kill clip automatically activate without having to use a manual reload, which is very nice stuff. You can see here I have blink on. If you do want to use your regular jumps, be a little grasshopper boy, you can do that, but I prefer to have blink. Over here we do have combination blow, so we kill somebody, we will get our class ability energy fully back, and we do get a small heal. I'm using flashbang grenades. If I don't have something like my Shinobu's Vow or my Lucky Raspberry build on, then I most times do like to go for something like a flashbang grenade because they can be quite effective and do quite a bit of damage that people are not expecting, and the utility on top of that is just absolutely flabbergastingly good. Over here we have our aspects I have on flow state, so when we do get amplified, you can see all the different bonuses we get with that. You can go ahead and pause if you want to read all of that, but there's a lot of good bonuses we get from getting amplified with our flow state. After that, we do have on Lethal Current, which is one of our main ways to get amplified by just killing somebody with a punch after we use our dodge. So of course, we want to use our dodge before we go into a close combat situation with our shotgun, kill them with Lethal Current, and then we are automatically amplified. Over here for our fragments, I have some fun stuff. Spark of Haste is going to give you plus 30 to your resilience, recovery, and mobility when you sprint for a few seconds. Of course, that's going to be up to a 60 stat on our mobility, and then with my shotgun out, I'll push it up to a 80 pretty easily there. We love to see that. If you want to run a higher base mobility, then you can, but I don't care to. Here we have Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. We love to see that. That's just going to help us get our abilities back even faster. Just like Spark of Recharge is here. While critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy regenerate more quickly. Good stuff right there. And then we have Spark of Instinct. While critically wounded, taking damage emits a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets. That can be a good thing to pick up a kill if you just died, and then maybe the enemy is really low health and they might die from this. It happens very not often. It doesn't happen often at all because it only does around like 10 damage. So don't expect this to pick up a bunch of kills for you, but it can jolt your target sometimes, which can make it to where you can either kill them and get amplified, or your enemy or your teammates actually can spread that jolt between your targets after you die. And it can be some very useful stuff right there. Forgot to mention for our Foetracer here, the other reason that I'm using it is because it's going to get buffed when we do get the new season patch coming through, and it's going to actually get the effects of Foetracer placed onto our Knucklehead radar, so we're going to get all of that together, which is very nice stuff. But Foetracer is going to get its completely own new passive, and I will definitely be using that in a build once we get into the new season, so make sure you are subscribed if you want to see that when the new season starts. All that being said, if you do have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comment section or join the Blinkville Discord server, which is going to have a link to the top right and in the description. Now, all that being said, if you want to leave me a like or subscribe at any point, I very much appreciate that. But all that out of the way, I think we're about ready to go ahead and get into this very last weekend of Trials of Osiris. So without further ado, let's go ahead and blink on into it. So coming into this first match, and I got Midtown for my first couple matches, and then I got some Wormhaven, and then I got some Altar of Flame, and then it kind of was like circling back and forth, but I feel like I've gotten Wormhaven and Altar more than anything, and then every now and again I'll get some Midtown matches, which I think I like Midtown the least out of the three, so that's fine with me. You can see good range and good pushing power with this lightweight frame without remorse right now, so I'm liking it quite a bit. I didn't get too much use. Well, I mean, obviously I got good use out of the Foetracer, but it feels like, especially because of latency, which the game has felt disgustingly laggy and more laggy for a long time now, as we all know. But this weekend, it just felt even worse than somehow of last weekend, which last weekend felt so gosh darn bad. And it's just crazy to me how it keeps feeling laggier and laggier, and then the latency is just getting worse. Bullet recognition bullet registration, however you want to say it, has just been terrible. You know, you'll shoot your guns, and a quarter of the time now it feels like they just don't hit their target. The bullets will just disappear. I had a play earlier that was just boggling my mind when I went back and looked at it, because I'll point the play out to you if I can remember when I get to it. I fly in with a shotgun, I land on a guy's head, you know, knock him out with a punch, do my little dodge, take the second guy out with a perfect shotgun blast, and I was like, okay, cool, I got two. My teammate dies. You know, when we get there, maybe I'll point it out. The funny thing was, after I died, I saw my entire pellet spread of the shotgun on the wall, but I got a kill with my shotgun. If the game tells me the shotgun got the kill. So it was just like, okay, so the bullets are just fucking Casper the Ghost Cousin, and they're just going through people like Casper can fly through walls? I don't think so. I left that clip in there, not because I got my entire butthole eaten, but because my Spark of Instinct actually got a kill. So I wanted to show that to you guys. That little symbol in the bottom left that you saw in that last clip was Spark of Instinct. So sometimes that's what I'm saying. If you get your enemy super low, then the Spark of Instinct can clean up for you. Had a lot of rounds like this today, where it was either I 1v3 or the game was just not going to go anywhere. Teammates apparently have cotton balls in between their fucking ears this week around, and they're just basically worthless, more so than usual. And not to mention, as I was saying in the intro, if you haven't noticed by now, this video is going to be me just roasting the game more so than usual, because it truly is a terrible weekend. And my god, the cheaters this weekend, holy hell. I mean, there's usually a shit ton of cheaters on this game, but there is so many people cheating this weekend. And one part of it, my friends were showing me this thing, I guess that was going on Twitter and stuff, which I don't use Twitter, you don't really, if you want to call it X, I don't care. Terrible platform, just full of toxicity, so I don't usually mess with it. But I guess Grenadier Jake got like all these people on him, and there's an entire Discord server that's filled with a bunch of cheaters and stuff, and they put like $120 bounty on his head, and we're like, go in the game, and we're gonna see who can kill this guy the most, and just like stream snipe. And it's just like, oh my god. It's times like that is where I'm just like, this community is fucking putrid. And I really hate the Destiny 2 community for the most part. A lot of you guys that watch my videos and whatnot and actually use Blink and don't just, you know, meta crutch all day and abuse the game are really cool. And I met some really cool people in the D2 community who are actually polite, respectful, and have an actual love for the core mechanics of the game and not just completely abusing it and being a, for lack of a better word, piece of fucking garbage all day. But a lot of people don't do that. You know, a lot of it is just going to be like what you see on the top of the screen. What do they have? One guy running Wall of Radiance. One guy running his bubble. So much fun, because it's better just to sit in a circle to win the game than to actually ever play the game. Hey, speaking of this round, what are they going to do? They're going to sit in a circle instead of playing the game. And I go in and I dumpster their fucking buttholes, because that's what happens when they actually have to go into a fight. They get dumpstered instead of sitting in a circle. Imagine that. Imagine how much easier it would have been. I could actually push through the hallway if that Titan shield wouldn't have been there. Just things like that. And the third guy on their team, who is it? Strand Hunter, whose just whole purpose in life is to knock you up, fucking fly you on the roof like you're a little trapeze artist. And if you can do that, then perfect, he'll actually fight you. But if he can't get you hung up in his little strings, then he's not going to take the fight with you, because then it would actually be a fair fight. And it's just so annoying. And I read the state of the game the other day. I've been reading the balance patches and stuff they're putting out, and we'll see what the full patches for PvP look like. But there's no meaningful changes coming. They're still not nerfing target lock on Immortal. They're still not nerfing aggressive frame SMGs in general, which needs some tuning. They're not nerfing anything with Strand and the suspension, which is disgustingly overpowered. Same thing. It's the same problem that Stasis had at the beginning, where they can just make you not able to play the game. And that's just where we are. And there's so many other broken things, you know, and they're just not going to even attempt to fix them. And I don't get it. What are they doing? And the other day there was that whole, you know, Joe Blackburn guy put out his whole, oh, here's the round, by the way. So I smacked the second guy, watched shotgun kill. If you look, you can't see it in this clip, but in the wall there, my entire shotgun pellet was in the wall. But then I killed him with my shotgun, apparently. So, cool. Guess I just put some fucking ghost bullets on. That's the new thing coming out with Bungie here. Again, more useless teammates. Here's me 1v2ing, and then the third guy flies in behind me with the fucking peregrines, and then my teammates are just dumpstered, and it's like, yeah, what do you expect nowadays? It's actually insane how worthless some of these people are in this game. But it's weird, too, because my teammates are just, like, trash can meta abusing, too. But then they just can't do it right, I guess? Or the other people can trash can meta abuse just so much better? It flabbergasts me. It really does. It just blows my mind. Like, where do these people come from? And I got so sick of this match specifically because I was going in chat and I was like, can we please just end this match? Because it was like 4-1. And I would just keep getting 2 kills every single round. And my teammates couldn't just get 1 kill and help me out or team shot with me or anything. And the kid was like, I went in chat and was like, hey, maybe we can team shot really quick and just finish this matchup really quick and just stop throwing. And the kid goes, it's not my fault that you're a cracked out cheater. And I was like, bro, are you think I'm cheating? Because I can actually just take these kids out and actually put practice in to hit my shots and have good strategies. Okay, thanks, pal. So then I had to go in a 1v3 like that to finish that last match off. And it was just like, my God. And if I can't play like that, then the match is just over. And it's just, oh, it is hell. But there's just so many cheaters this weekend. And you're like, well, how do you know they're cheaters? Because most of the prominent cheaters in D2, people who play a bunch, especially if you play a bunch of trials, you know their names. Their names float around in the community. We know who the cheaters are by now. If you start playing trials a lot, you can see Foetracer being pretty good in this round. I knew he was flying up on me, so I decided to blink behind him and then wait for him to get the res. I did not shoot until he got that res because I knew we could just farm both and then get more super energy. So make sure you're cognizant of things like that. What was I saying before, though, about the cheaters and everything? But yeah, once you start getting more into the actual like big PvP side and becoming a top tier player, you start to learn all these players that you're just going to get stuck in, especially in SBMM type game modes. You're just going to be playing the same cheaters all day, every day. That's just how it is. That's why SBMM sucks so much monkey balls, because you're just fighting the same 16 cheaters over and over and over. And they don't get banned. People don't get banned in this game. That made me laugh when they're like, oh, I read the state of the game, and I was like, we're going to keep increasing and working on our security and making sure our anti-cheat's better. You have the worst video game anti-cheat system on the market. BattlEye is fucking laughable. I couldn't laugh more at Bobo the Clown's whole entire routine than I could at BattlEye as a fucking service. Do you know how bad Rainbow Six Siege's cheater problem is? I quit playing that game because of how many cheaters are on Rainbow Six Siege. And then when I was like, oh, they're getting BattlEye, great, G fucking G, and lo and behold, it's still goddamn terrible. And it's never gonna be better because it's a terrible anti-cheat system, but on top of that, they don't update it. And they're like, oh, we had the best ban wave ever. You had the best ban wave ever, and yet we're still getting cheaters in 10 to 30% of our matches, if not more. And I know a lot of lower tier players will be like, well, this guy's not cheating, and make any kind of copium excuse in the book. You guys, there's a lot of cheaters on this game. If you're a console player, I know you're not going to see it as much, but there's still ways to get some cheesy shit going on in console. You better believe it. And that's the crazy thing. It's just, it's everywhere. And people just really don't get that. And until you play for a long time, you don't really start being able to see suspicious activity coming from your enemies. And once you play for a long time, you're like, oh yeah, that was sus. You shouldn't be able to flick like that. You shouldn't be able to track like that. You shouldn't have the information of someone coming around the wall when you don't have anything in your kit that will help you do that. And then they can just lag abuse and all this other stuff that just adds on top of it, you know, and that's stuff you learn as you get better at the game. But holy hell, guys, if you don't have to play this weekend, if you have other things to do, I should say, go do them. Visit your fucking grandpa in the nursing home, you know, go to the circus, join them, become Bobo the Clown. Because anything you could possibly do besides play trials this weekend would be a very good idea, especially if you're planning on playing when the new season comes out. Take a break, calm down for this week, and if you want to go full force when the new season starts, go ahead. But don't get hung up on this weekend. It's not worth it. It is the glaive, is the adept weapon. So, yeah, actually just useless. If you are someone who likes glaives, that's fine. But even if you are someone who likes glaives, there's 100 other better glaives in the game. Okay, well, like 4, but that's because there's like 6 glaives in total. But there's better glaives than this. Like the Trials glaive is not that good. Its perk pool is just mid, you know, and then it's a glaive on top of that. So like you don't need it. So don't go on this game nowadays, or on this weekend, guys, if you're like stressing about it. There's no good rewards, and the player population is just made out of the most toxic jimmies you're ever gonna see. So that's just my message to you guys, how to tell you about this weekend and the community in general right now, because it is just fucking disgusting. It's a bad weekend. So hopefully you guys can enjoy your weekends. I hope you do. I really hope you can have some fun this weekend, spend some time with family, friends, whatever you do, enjoy your weekend, please. And if you are going to play Trials, I truly do wish you the absolute best of luck. Now, all that being said, I'll let these last 2 plays play out. And the last play that I have for you guys here, it's just perfect for encapsulating what this weekend is like, because Bungie put me into a match against 3 other people with no teammates. Because that's still a bug in the game. So you know what I did? First round, as soon as I spawned in, I pulled my ghost out, and I went right the fuck back to orbit. So, thanks guys, I really appreciate you watching, and as always, have a great day, Guardians.